thank you, Alex. So yeah, I know it's game day, and I appreciate you guys coming out. So Spark 2017, this is more of like, my journey as an undergraduate into Agrospheres and what we've been up to lately. This is a young Payam Pourtaheri, so full of passion, so optimistic, coming into UVA. I just wanted to go to med school. I didn't have what, Ashwin had. He knew he was going to be an entrepreneur. Jack, he knew he wanted to be an entrepreneur. I hadn't heard the word entrepreneurship. I didn't think about the word entrepreneurship. I just wanted to go to med school. And so, when you're pre-med, I don't know if anyone here is pre-med, you hear all these weird rumors like, take these classes, pick a weird major, like, really show a way to separate yourself from the rest of the pack. So I came into the College of Arts and Sciences and I thought, maybe I'd be a biology major, but that fit in with the pack of what everyone else is doing. So I learned about this cool new major called nanomedicine. And so I decided to transfer into the engineering school for my second year. And this is, when my life started changing. So, I was, trying to get into a lab. My grades weren't great. I wasn't set up for med school. I wasn't doing research. And I'm going into my third year looking for, something to do to, set me apart from the rest of, the crowd. And if you're in BME, you'll meet someone named Kidder, who's the undergraduate, student advisor. And, there was a major night, and she said, can you come and, talk about nanomedicine? So I did. And luckily, that night, I was talking about nanomedicine, I run into this guy, Mark Kester, he just left Penn State, and he's come to UVA to be a professor. He has a lab. And he's like, oh, nanomedicine, I'm the nano guy at Penn State, and I've never had undergraduates. Do you want a spot in my lab? Yeah, obviously I do. But when you're applying to labs, you'll know it's competitive. You need good grades, you need mission statement. I'm not doing this for med school. I'm passionate about your research. I want to learn everything from you. So I read up on his stuff, and I'm ready for this meeting because my GPA is not great, my transcript sucks. So I'm going in, I'm meeting with him. He's like, hey, just join my lab. I was like, I really liked your latest paper on photos. I don't need to hear that. Just join my lab, go meet my scientists, learn something. So I was like, okay, I need to make a good impression on him. And he does have companies. He does entrepreneurship a lot at Penn State. So when he came to, so yeah, he was like, there's this E-Cup talk I'm going to be at. He told his undergraduates in his lab, come to this talk. And I wanted to kiss up to him, like, oh yeah, entrepreneurship, I'm there. I'll show up. And this was a great moment because at this event, he meets Alex, who then meets Sean. And Sean and Alex are leading this iGEM team where they're working on this really cool synthetic biology application. And the iGEM team kind of disbands, but Sean stays onto that team, and Amir catches wind of the technology and he wants to join. So when I go and meet Amir and Sean, they tell me, this is this cool technology, you want to use it for therapeutics, let's do something together. And I was like, that sounds really awesome. And that began, that birthed something truly magical. Thought I was going to say Agrospheres, that's the next slide. But the first slide is this bromance between Amir and I. And, I'm glad Jack brought this up about his co-founder because this is very important. So when you have a co-founder that you get along with really well, you see the same vision, and you know each other's strengths and weaknesses, that can do a lot for your company. And if you don't look at your co-founder the way I look at Amir, you don't have the right co-founder. But yeah, so Agrospheres. We meet, the spring of 2015, and Mark's the director of Nanostar. We get a grant, so we start that summer. We start doing pesticide degradation research because Mark said, therapeutics, you guys need to be here for 12 more years at least, and we were graduating in 2 years. So we work on pesticide degradation over the summer, and then Mark encourages us, don't treat this as just a research project. Actually think about entrepreneurship. And I know you guys are wondering, why are you guys so photogenic? And that's because we're always smiling, we're always flexing. But your second question is, who should I talk to, start my company or know what to do? These two people right here, Alex and Liz. So we had our first pitch deck for that this the E-Cup concept competition. A lot of data, a lot of science. Yeah, we're gonna blow these guys away with all this cool tech. No one cares. If you're not a scientist, you're not gonna, not think about it. You're not gonna care. You want to see the numbers. You want to see the vision, and things like that. So, Alex and Liz really worked hard with us about, how to tell your story, because this is gonna be very important if you're pitching competitions or pitching investors, because some of them might not be as savvy in biotech. They might be software people, retail, things like that. And so, that was a great step for us. We got that concept competition, and then we went to the UVA E-Cup discovery competition. We got wrecked. The judges hated us. Top 5 wins an award. We didn't even make top 5, so this was one of those moments where, do we go for a launch? Do we try that third stage, or do we just kind of give up here? And in the meantime, we applied to the iLab. And I'm sure you'll hear about it. We got put in touch with a lot of great mentors. Specifically, Rick Kulo, if you meet him, he's spent a lot of time with us, Evan Edwards. And mentors are, there's a couple different kinds of mentors. Some will get coffee with you every now and then for 30 minutes, or those who will sit down for like 2 or 3 hours with you. And you go to them with the problem, but they're gonna be like, tell me everything that happened from our last meeting. Because they need all of the information before they can give you advice. 30-minute meeting isn't gonna, give them enough details to give you qualified advice. And these mentors meant, a lot to us in our journey. And so, we did the iLab, and then we went on our tour. Competitions, baby. And our first competition, actually, when we were, doing the E-Cup, actually Kevin, Isaac Bratz was speaking after me, sat down with us for about an hour and a half to 2 hours the night before, grilling us on our pitch. It's like, that's not good. You need this. No chance you win if you leave this out. And it was honest, and it's what we needed. So we went out, and it's our first big pitch competition, and we're at the Paramount, kind of like an audience like this. Obviously we're nervous, but no, it went well, and we were charming, so we brought in the audience award as well. So that was our first big win, and now we can start doing some field trials. And from there, we won the Velocity Tour, Collegiate Inventors, things like that. So all these competitions, competitions are great, but there was also a downside, because people started thinking, oh, well, these guys just do competitions. They're not a serious company. Well, they can think that, but we needed the money, because in biotech, you need some sort of preliminary data to then go raise money. If we had no data, no field trials, and we went and raised money, one, no one would give us money. And if we did, they'd have like 90% of the company. So we did what we needed to be able to raise our next round. And here's an important moment. So mid competition tour, we brought on our first, CEO. His name's Reese. He said, pesticide degradation is great, but as a student talking to farmers and you ask them, do you want pesticides degraded, they're obviously gonna say yes. No one's gonna be, no, I love pesticides, I drink them. Why would you clean up pesticides? No, they're gonna tell us, yeah, please break them down, we'll buy it. But when you're approaching them as a graduated student working at a company, would you purchase this? Then it's like, oh, well, I abide by the regulations, I do all my sprayings and things like that. Why would I pay to spray again? And Reese kind of got us thinking more about, okay, well, how can you guys degrade pesticides? What's the platform technology? And so we started thinking about that, and that's when we started gaining momentum about, raising our money. And one of the things I'm supposed to talk about is that moment where I became an entrepreneur. And I don't think this really happens. I wasn't grinding till 4 a.m. because money doesn't sleep, and then my laptop, my laptop burns out, and I see my reflection in the laptop. I'm like, Payam, you're an entrepreneur. That doesn't happen. Like, I was still trying. At this point, Reese comes in. I'm still trying to go to med school. Like, like this is a dope extracurricular activity that's gonna put me on the map for med school. But once I went to my first med school interview at Penn State for MD PhD, this is a scholarship program. I'm getting paid to go to med school. Obviously, this is a dream come true for me and my parents. who brought me from Iran to the States, made all those sacrifices for me to do this. So this is great. And one of my interviewers, like 10 minutes in there, was like, don't do it. Don't do what? It's like, don't come here. Like, what do you mean? It's like, don't go to MD PhD because this program might beat the creativity out of you and you already have a company. You know, like, our med school is not going to shut down in 3 years. Like, apply again 3 years from now. Like, my interviewer was telling me this. Is this a sign? So, so I think to myself, you know what? Okay, sure. So I got in and I asked for a year deferral because we hadn't raised money yet. So I have a year. Let's see if we can raise money and build a lab. And if it doesn't work out, I still have a solid backup plan. But no, things worked out really well. So Amir and Reese, while we were at the Thought for Food competition in Amsterdam, making connections, winning more competition money, Amir and Reese, stepped out of the spotlight and went to Turkey to close our lead investors. And obviously I wanted to be there to, bring in our closing investors, but that's something you also learn. When you have a co-founder at the beginning, you want to be in every meeting together. But we learned that some meetings, it's better that just he goes and I allocate my time for other things. So we raised our round. We actually have a lab now up on 29. If you are in the area, come by. We'll give you a tour. And also we got our first major contract with a chemical company where they pay for the research and we develop products with them. And that was a really big moment for us because, raising the round was great, but this was industry validation. So now we have something we can work towards. And where we are now, so I mentioned Reese, and Reese was a great addition to the team. And this summer, Reese came to us and he said, it might be better if we hire a more experienced CEO. My life is taking me towards a different direction, and I think that you guys would benefit from bringing in another CEO. So we brought in Doug, who, he previously, and this is another thing, you don't need to start a company now. Doug had a whole career as a prosecutor in New York as a lawyer, and then he, had 13 years in New York, and then after that, he started his company. So people start companies at different times, don't feel rushed. And so he actually went to Duke Business School, started his own company, sold it to Monsanto, which is great CEO material for us because he brings validity, he brings experience. And now we have this cool piece of, this cool machine, might be one of the few in Charlottesville, it's called a fermenter. It makes a lot of bacteria at once for us to do testing. So this is how we scale, and then we take what we make in there, we take it to greenhouses here at Danville, Virginia, where they have greenhouses, smart tables, things like that for just to do scale testing. So we're excited about the stage we're at. And I mentioned a lot of people, but these three guys I really want to bring attention to. Zach, our lead biochemist. I mean, just with an undergraduate degree, this guy's making new strains of bacteria, working on biocontrols, like doing incredible things. Joey, doing awesome things for making sure our product can actually work in the field. So a lot of times when you're working on a cool technology, you do a lot of lab stuff, but it doesn't really matter if that doesn't work in the field or in a human or whatever you're working towards. You gotta make sure your technology is gonna work, at the end. And Seth, who's working on our synthetics and formulations. Again, I wanna reiterate, these guys don't have PhDs, but I still haven't met a PhD that I've been more impressed with than these guys. And one of the most rewarding parts of what I've done is seeing these guys grow into the scientists they've become today. And also a big thanks to my family. So I'm an only child. Like I mentioned, my parents immigrated from Iran to here, and I was worried to tell them, I'm gonna turn down this full ride to med school to be poor. How does that sound to you guys? We see that you're passionate about this and you want to do this, so med school is always there. If this fails, you have to go to med school, but maybe you don't have to. And my girlfriend Taylor, who deals with my mood swings and my stress and things like that, so I appreciate it. And lastly, thank you, UVA. I met the wonderful people I work with here, my wonderful mentors, advisors, colleagues, and my degree. So I want to be a resource to you guys. I'm always on my phone, so I'll get your email if you need someone to talk with. someone to brag to. You know, maybe you don't want to brag to your friends because they'll think that's annoying. You know, brag to a stranger. Let's grab coffee. And, you know, I'm just here for you guys, so thank you so much for the time.